Alright, it's almost 11 p.m. We're back, guys, with some more GTA 6 reactions. And this video is titled GTA 6 Just Got Good News, No More Delays. So, it really is November 19th, which is the essence of the title. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Socials in the description. Let's go.
You guys,
Not
Take-Two
wasting any
Interactive
time.
is basically just soft confirmed that GTA 6 will not, and I repeat, will not be delayed again. And that's just one of the reasons that I'm convinced that we'll be playing GTA 6 in November of this year. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Sav. On this channel,
Yes,
we cover
sir.
all things GTA 6 and keep you up to date on everything that actually matters. If that's your jam, click subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Okay, without any further ado, let's dive in. And
I
as
keep
always,
hitting the mic.
this ain't your average YouTube clickbait. Now look, before we get into it, I do want to acknowledge something. I did a video like this in the past. I laid out reasons why GTA 6 wouldn't get delayed again, and then it was. I was wrong, and a bunch of you still let me know in the comments. So if you're cautious right now, I get it. And I know exactly how this sounds. But here's why it's different this time.
This time, for reals.
Last time, most of the
heard
argument was
that before.
vibes, dev progress, and Rockstar always delivers. This time, it's about hard commitments, dates, money, marketing, and investors, stuff that's way more
Especially marketing. That's the real telltale sign. That's how you really
painful
know
for
things are
Take-Two
locked
to
in.
walk away from. So let's break it all down. First, we have the delay history, because GTA 6 is already pushing the edge of what Rockstar normally does. Grand Theft Auto 4 was delayed once, from October 2007 to April 29th of 2008. Grand Theft Auto 5 was delayed once, from its original spring 2013 target to September 17th of 2013. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the big comparison that everyone always brings up because it slipped multiple times. First, it was announced for a broad window, then
And as the games get more complex and more advanced, that delay window time is going to increase steadily as time goes by. So, it's going to get worse.
that window moved.
Naturally.
And then only later did Rockstar lock in the final date of October 26th, 2018. The key difference with GTA 6 is this. We've now had multiple specific calendar days announced and then moved. That level of repeated hard date shifting on a flagship title is something we really haven't seen from Rockstar before. GTA 6 started with a broad 2025 target, then moved to a specific date of May 26, 2026, and is now set for a second specific date of Thursday, November 19th, 2026. GTA 6 is already in new territory in terms of how many times Rockstar has shifted a fully locked-in date. A third hard date move would be a level beyond even what we saw in Red Dead Redemption 2. Next is the date itself. We're not talking about sometime in 2026 anymore. We're talking about a specific Thursday in November that Rockstar has publicly committed to and Take-Two has echoed in front of investors. November 19th, 2026. It's the heart of the holiday window, Black Friday, holiday shopping, new consoles under Christmas trees, people taking time off to actually play games. This is where you want your once-in-a-generation release. And here's something worth thinking about. When they moved from May of 2026 to November of 2026, the official line was that they needed more time to hit the level of polish that players expect. That's completely believable for Rockstar, but it also conveniently moves the game from a normal spring slot into the single most lucrative part of the year. So it's very possible that internal
And that's a time of year where a lot of people are going to be taking leave and vacation. So on top of sales on hardware, PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, so those are going to be cheaper. And then that's going to give people more access to Grand Theft Auto 6 because the hardware is cheaper for those that don't already own it. I'm very mesmerized. I'm just caught up on looking at this scene. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, that's the perfect time. The sales are already going to be gargantuan, but releasing it during Black Friday is just gonna... Man, it's gonna take over. Let's play it.
We could probably ship in May if we absolutely had to, but if we're taking extra time anyway, we might as well land in the holiday window to maximize the launch profits.
I prefer the holiday Christmas than May. So even though they're taking more time, I still think Christmas is a better time to launch it.
Now, publicly, you don't say we delayed to make more money. You say we delayed for quality because that's what your audience wants to hear. In reality, those two things can be true at the same time. More time to refine the game and a much stronger commercial window. And if they somehow miss November 19th of 2026, they're not nudging this just a little bit. That's not how Rockstar handles these big flagship games. At this scale, you're realistically looking at either another big push of around 6 months or basically a full 12-month slip into the next holiday window. And both of those options suck. They've already burned 2 delays. Another big delay like that completely wrecks confidence in their scheduling. And a full 12-month slip completely eviscerates the marketing plan that they've been building around. And that's why all this internal pressure is now on making November 19th work, not quietly sliding it again. And it's not just people like me thinking this window makes more sense. Even Jason Schreier, whose reporting was around both of those earlier delay windows, has described the November 2026 date as feeling a lot more real and a little more solid than the old 2025 target or even the May target of 2026. He did mention the game isn't fully content complete yet, but for a huge open world game this far out, that's totally normal. The important part is that his tone has shifted from basically don't be surprised if this slips to this is a more believable launch window than what they were aiming for before. Of course,
you know, when he said just now, what he said just now about content completion, which I could have sworn I heard that it was content complete, but even if what he said is the case, I heard that there was supposed to be like 1,300 different random events in the game. That's insane. That's all I have to say regarding that.
You never built your whole case on one journalist, but when someone who was cautious before now thinks that this new date actually fits, and that lines up with Take-Two's positioning for the holiday launch, it reinforces the idea that November 19th is more of a realistic target. And this is where the business side really starts to kick in. Take-Two has been telling investors for years that the mid-2020s will bring record levels of net bookings, and everybody knows GTA 6 is the anchor of that story. They've raised guidance, they've talked about establishing a new baseline for the business. They've pointed to this period as a turning point. When they pushed GTA 6 in November 2026, the stock already reacted. Even with strong earnings, the delay hurt sentiment because investors hate moving goalposts. A third delay would now mean going back to shareholders and saying, we were off by an entire holiday year on our biggest release. That's a lot bigger than just your standard disappointment. That's a major credibility problem. And then there's the whole summer marketing side, and this is actually probably the biggest news in the past 24 hours. Historically, Strauss Zelnick has been extremely tight-lipped about Rockstar's marketing plans. Take-Two has traditionally avoided discussing marketing timelines well in advance, but on February 3rd, yesterday, he broke from that pattern. He told investors that Rockstar's launch marketing for GTA 6 begins this summer, and then emphasized, quote, I think we'll be having a lot more red meat in the coming months. Rest assured that I think you'll be pretty astonished by the creativity that Rockstar's marketing team brings to consumers in the coming months. When asked how confident he feels about the date, he said, anytime you're getting closer to marketing beats, you're obviously in a place where your confidence level is as high as it can be. That's a big shift, even for Strauss Zelnick. For years, he's avoided revealing marketing timelines publicly. Now he's not only telling everyone when marketing starts, he's explaining that being close to those marketing commitments is exactly why his confidence is so high. So what does marketing starts this summer actually mean in practical terms? Well, they're already locking in where and when GTA 6 will be advertised. YouTube pre-rolls, big trailer slots, store features, homepage takeovers, those things are reserved in advance. Teams at
And then all of those banners that they usually have in like major cities, like New York, California, especially New York. You know how you have the billboards? Like how you have the Spotify artists up in New York, in Times Square? Yeah, something like that. I imagine we'll see that as well.
Rockstar actively working on the trailers, the artwork, the promo content they're going to be using to fill those spots. The astonishing creativity comment suggests that they've got a lot more than just a standard trailer cycle planned. They're also syncing timing with partners, platform holders, retailers, and even streaming platforms. We've already seen this hinted at with reports that Twitch has been working with Rockstar and Take-Two on GTA 6 launch events, with Twitch drops and other activations around the game at launch. Now, it goes without saying, you don't publicly commit to summer marketing and tell investors that they'll be astonished by what's coming unless you're confident that the game is actually launching in November. Even for CEO speak, that's pretty ballsy. Now, does the actual build timeline back this up? For GTA 6 to launch worldwide on November 19th, there's a point a couple of months before release where the game basically has to be locked in. If you're not familiar with the term, in the industry that's called going gold. That's when Rockstar finishes a final approved version of the game and sends it off so millions of physical discs can be manufactured, packaged, and shipped to stores all over the world. At the same time, that same build is prepared for digital release on PlayStation and Xbox since it's not coming to PC at launch. Now, once a game goes gold, you can still fix bugs with day one patches, but you're no longer making big changes to the game. You've effectively said, this is the version that we're putting on the disc. For a November 19th launch, that gold milestone has to happen roughly 6 to 8 weeks earlier, so there's enough time to print discs, move them through warehouses, and get them on shelves before release day. Now line that up with what we know. We're in early 2026. Take-Two just publicly reaffirmed the November 19th date. They just committed to starting launch marketing this summer. By early fall of 2026, the game has to go gold. Discs are pressed, shipments go out. If they thought there was a serious risk of missing that September gold window, the logical place to signal that would have been on this latest earnings call before committing to a summer marketing launch, not after. The fact that they tightened up messaging around the date and added marketing timing on top suggests that their internal goals and their public promises are currently lining up. And last but not least, there's a timing issue that does not get talked about enough: the console generation cycle. PS5 and Xbox Series X launched back in November of 2020. That puts them almost 6 years old right now. And just this week, AMD's CEO confirmed that the next generation Xbox is on track to launch in 2027, with the PS6 likely in a similar window. That creates very specific.
Didn't they push that back to 2030 though? Didn't they push that back to 2030 though? One more time in my Dr. Umar style. Didn't they push that back to 2030 though? I could have sworn they did, unless that was only the PS5. We really don't need that shit right now. It still doesn't feel like the PS5 has enough games, but I have no control over that. I'm gonna just get me a pro model, and when I get the chance to, I'll also get myself a proper desktop PC and just focus on my content, and hopefully everything else falls into place for me.
November of 2026. And here's why. Because if GTA 6 launches in November of 2026, Rockstar gets a full calendar year, maybe more, where the game is the dominant release on current gen hardware. Then when PS6 and the next Xbox arrive in 2027 or 2028, Rockstar can do what they've always done: re-release GTA 6 as an enhanced version for next gen consoles and sell it over again at full price. It's called double dipping. That's the playbook they ran with GTA 5. It launched on Xbox 360 and PS3 in 2013. Then it got re-released on Xbox One and PS4, and then again on the next generation of Xboxes and the PS5 years later. But if GTA 6 gets delayed into 2027 or later, that window closes. You'd be launching right as next-gen consoles are arriving, or worse, after they're already out. At that point, do you launch on old hardware that's already on its way out, or do you try to make it cross-gen and split your focus? None of those options for Take-Two are very good, and none of them let you double dip the way that launching in 2026 does. And industry analysts have actually already pointed this out. Piers Harding Rolls from Ampere Analysis.
Alright, so we got PS5 and Xbox Series X and S release. Then PlayStation 6 and Xbox, whatever the next Xbox is called. We get a remaster on that. But that's after the PC version drops. So it's PS5 and Xbox. Well, the consoles we have now, the current gen we have now, first, as the initial launch. Then the PC version a year and a half later, a year and a half to 2 years later. Then PlayStation 6 and the Xbox for the next generation. And then after that, an enhanced version down the line for PlayStation 7 and the Xbox after that. And I'm pretty sure, I think they said they were going to eventually make them PCs, but for the Xbox that is. But I don't even know what to say about that. So yeah, probably spanning again over 3 generations this time again,
said
like
that Sony
GTA
and
5
Microsoft
did.
wanted GTA 6 out much earlier than late 2026, specifically so they could build momentum into the current console cycle before transitioning into next gen. And some reports are even suggesting that the GTA 6 delay has caused Sony and Microsoft to debate pushing their own next gen launches to 2028 just to ride the GTA 6 wave a little longer. That's how important this timing is. So let's put this all together. GTA 6 has already gone beyond Rockstar's typical delay pattern with multiple specific dates set and moved. We now have a fixed, repeatedly confirmed date of November 19, 2026, right in the heart of the holiday window. Take-Two's financial guidance and long-term growth story are built around that time frame. They've now publicly committed to starting GTA 6 launch marketing this summer, and Zelnick has tied his confidence directly to being close to those marketing beats. The production timeline needs to go gold by early fall, and so far that seems very plausible with the current timeline. And then the console generation cycle is creating a closing window, a delay into 2027 or later, and Rockstar loses the ability to double dip on current gen and next gen the way they did with GTA 5. Now, could something truly catastrophic still happen and force another delay? It's always possible. Nothing in game development
That is true, but I think it's highly unlikely at this
is 100%
point.
safe. But if you're asking me what's the most realistic scenario based on everything we know right now, the strongest case by far is that GTA 6 actually launches on November 19th of 2026. Personally, I'm in careful optimism mode, but I genuinely believe that we'll be playing GTA 6 in about 9 months. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about all this? Who knows, maybe I missed something. If you want to stay ahead of every GTA 6 trailer, marketing beat, and pre-launch update as we head into summer, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. We are now closer to GTA 6 than we have ever been, and if everything stays on track this November, we're finally stepping into that world for real. Once again, I'm Sav, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
From dusk till dawn, I turn my speakers.
You know, I love the sound of that. GTA 6 in 9 months. Crazy. No shot they delay again. They said summer starts marketing. Why even say that if you're going to delay the game in May? They have so much pressure on the fact that they're doing GTA 6 in only about 6 to 7 years is crazy, and people are saying the wait is too long. We talk about revolutionary title, could have been 10 years. That's facts though. This took less time than Red Dead Redemption 2. Seemingly, yeah, 6 to 7 years. GTA 6 really should be a game that you build for 10 years. So, well, we're honestly lucky that the dev cycle isn't longer, because this game is a game of games. But anyway, hopefully no more delays. It seems like that's how it's gonna go. So I will see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.